The Zhou Dynasty was one of the most significant and long-lasting dynasties in Chinese history, spanning from 1046 BC to 256 BC, for a total of about 790 years. It was preceded by the Shang Dynasty and succeeded by the Qin Dynasty. The Zhou Dynasty is divided into two periods, the Western Zhou and the Eastern Zhou, which is further divided into the Spring and Autumn period and the Warring States period. The Western Zhou period, from 1046 BC to 771 BC, began with King Wu overthrowing the last Shang Dynasty king Di Xin and establishing the Zhou Dynasty. King Wu's brother, the Duke of Zhou, played an instrumental role in the early years of the Western Zhou Dynasty, serving as a regent for King Wu's son and consolidating the Zhou's rule over the surrounding territories. The Western Zhou was characterized by a feudal system, where the king held the highest power, and the nobles and vassals held land and were expected to provide military service and tribute to the king. The system was held together by a complex network of alliances, marriages, and obligations. The Western Zhou period saw the development of iron technology, which replaced bronze as the primary material for weapons and tools. This technology gave the Zhou military an advantage over their enemies, and it allowed for significant agricultural improvements. The Western Zhou dynasty is also known for its sophisticated legal system, which was based on the principle of punishment fitting the crime. The legal system was applied fairly, regardless of the offender's status or position, and it was administered by a separate class of officials. The Western Zhou period was marked by significant cultural achievements, including the development of Chinese writing and the publication of the Book of Documents, which recorded historical events and provided a basis for early Chinese political philosophy. It was also during this period that Confucius, the famous Chinese philosopher, was born. The Eastern Zhou dynasty, from 771 BC to 256 BC, is divided into two periods, the Spring and Autumn period, from 771 BC to 476 BC, and the Warring States period from 475 BC to 256 BC. During the Spring and Autumn period, the Zhou dynasty's central authority began to weaken, and the vassals began to assert their independence. The period was marked by frequent warfare between the various states, as well as significant cultural and intellectual developments. One of the most significant intellectual developments of the Spring and Autumn period was the emergence of the 100 schools of thought, which were various schools of philosophy and thought that developed in response to the challenges of the time. Among the most famous of these schools were Confucianism, Taoism, legalism, and Mohism. The Warring States period began with the end of the Spring and Autumn period, and it was marked by even more significant warfare and political turmoil. The states of the period were constantly at war with one another, and several powerful states emerged, including Qin, Chu, Qi, and Han. The Warring States period was also marked by significant cultural and intellectual developments, including the emergence of the classical Chinese texts, such as the Tao Te Ching and the Analects of Confucius. The period also saw significant technological advances, including the development of crossbows and iron plows, which helped to improve agricultural productivity. Despite these cultural and technological advancements, the Eastern Zhou dynasty was ultimately weakened by internal strife and external pressures. The powerful states of the Warring States period eventually began to conquer one another, and in 256 BC, the state of Qin conquered the last remaining Zhou state, officially ending the Zhou dynasty. The Zhou dynasty was a crucial period in Chinese history, marked by significant cultural, intellectual, and technological developments. Thanks for watching. Please press the like button and share this video if you appreciated this presentation, and subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more.